Hello to you all, Naomi Dawn here and welcome to part 5 of BAMP 2018. Now for today's page you will need your basic page, a sheet of the cardstock that you're building your pages with, and the lighter coloured sheet of cardstock, 2 sheets of your 12 by 12, double-sided if you can manage it. Some of the scraps that we've cut off that are 3 inches wide. So this is all scraps and pages that we've done before. And this next bit is optional. Some scrap paper, an ink pad and an applicator, and some ribbon. You don't have to have the ink pad and applicator, you don't have to have the ribbon, it's up to you, but I will be using them today. Let's get this out of the way. For tools for today, you will need your preferred adhesive, so that could be tape or a wet glue. You'll need something to cut and score with, and I think that's it actually for today. Not a lot of tools. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that you will need, open this up because I know we're going to be using it open today. The first thing you're going to need is your plain cardstock that you're making your pages with. And we are going to cut to 6.5 inches tall. Okay, so we're cutting off this section here. We've done this enough times that you know how to do this bit now. So we're going to cut to 6.5. And then we're going to cut this way. We want to be 10 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so lining up against the bottom rail to 10 3/4. Next, that's a score tool, not the cutting tool. Okay, so this is now 6.5 by 10 3/4. Score at 5 inches. Okay, so scoring, and again at 10 inches. Okay, so we scored at 5 and at 10. We're going to put this to one side for now and get some of the cutting out of the way. So choose your DSP that you're going to use to cover your base card, okay, your base page I should say, and then we're going to cut as usual. So I'm not going to rush through it, explain it step by step. I'll put the measurements on, but we've done this a few times now. So I'm just going to go through this quickly. I'm cutting 5 inches. And then I'm cutting that in half. So I've got 2 pieces that measure 5 by 6. Measurements will be on the screen. That also can be found in my group, the Stampin' Stashes on Facebook, which is where you'll find all your bonus stuff. So it's all your cut sheets are there, and there are extra videos there that go with the Don't series. Okay, and I'm going to cut this down to 9. Please do not rush ahead and stick everything down. As usual, I'm going to do something a little different, and if you stuck it all down, you won't be able to do it. Okay, that's 9. Make this 6 wide. And then cut to 4.5. And this is all stuff that you've done several times before. So that's all of the base papers cut. Okay. Right, your basic page. Stick down the 2 that are on the inside only for now, which means you need one of your wider pieces that measures 5 inches and one of your narrow pieces that measures 4.5. She says making it look really awkward. Okay, so we just want those 2 for now. So I'm going to speed it up while I stick these 2 down. Okay, right, stick down the one that goes on the front. Don't stick this one down. So we only want to stick this one down, which is your smaller piece. Okay, so you should now have this. We'll put that to one side and we're going to take this piece. Right, at the moment this measures 6 inches this way and 5 inches this way, but this is too wide for what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is cut this down to 4.5 inches. Okay, so we now have a piece that measures 4.5 by 6 inches. Okay, so we're going back to the zigzag piece that we cut earlier and we're going to fold it. So nice crisp lines to form a zigzag. And unlike last time, please don't miter the corners, you need them straight as they are. Okay. Oops. Got a big one there. Okay. So this is what you should have. Should have folded it up both sides, so 2 folds up like that. And this is going to sit here on your page. Okay. So it'll form a flap that opens like this and opens like this. Now I find it easier to decorate it while it's not stuck to the page. So we've worked out your score line's going to fold up that way. So this is the top of your zigzag section. I'll go over that with a band folder in a minute. Okay, and that's where we are going to stick this piece of DSP. Okay, so we'll put all of this to one side. Where we've been cutting our pages, we've got scraps For instance, this has come off of the DSP that I cut today for the base page. Same with this one, same with this one, and that's come off of another sheet. Okay, I actually won't use that one today. What we need to do is cut all of these pieces so that they measure 4.5 wide. So that's 3 pieces that measure 3 inches wide that we've cut off of base pages, and we're cutting them to 4.5 inches. This is why I say keep hold of your scraps, because they're not really scraps, they're just usable somewhere else. Okay, so we're going to put these to one side for a second. Now you need your plain piece of cardstock. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a strip. So you see this is your A4 landscape. Oh, I should mention, UK A4 is 8 3/4 inches long. So it's 8.25 inches along the short edge. I found out that the American A4 is slightly wider, and I believe it's 8.3 inches. So I'll explain what we're doing. You're going to put it in this way. We're going to cut off a piece that is 4.5 inches wide. So cutting to 4.5. And the reason that the paper size is really important is this. If you're using UK A4, we're going to cut this into 3, which means each piece will measure 2 3/4 inches. If you're using American A4, you need to cut 3 pieces that measure 2 3/4 inches, and you'll have a small piece that you have to cut off. Okay, so 3 pieces at 2 3/4 inches. Okay. Now, for those of you who caught my bonus video, I think it was video 3, I could be wrong, you'll have seen me do this before, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. You can use your cardstock plain, you do not need to do anything else with this cardstock. This is just what I would like to do with mine for my album, because it fits in with what I've been doing. So I'm just adding a bit of ink to my applicator. For full explanation of this technique, please join my group, the Stampin' Stashes group on Facebook, and you'll get the bonus videos on there which will explain what I'm doing now. So now what we're going to do is glue everything to the zigzag section. Now I like to think about where I'm putting what, so since this is the bit that's going to show here, I'm going to go with a corresponding piece. I think I want the No, I'm going to go that way up. The piece that's on the back, I'm going to use that way up. It's going to sit here. And then this one is going to sit here. Now the aim for me is I'm going to put photo here and journal in here. You could put photos in both places. Okay, you don't have to have them this way up. You could put the plain one at the top and the patterned one at the bottom. It's completely up to you. This is your front and your back, and then you've got your inside. Remembering these are double-sided, so I can use the different patterns. I'm going to put that on there, and that one there, that one there, and that one there. Now if you're a more experienced crafter, you might decide you want to make these pieces wider. That, as I said, I'm using offcuts, which is why I'm using the size that I am. If you want to cut separate sheets, you can have a wider piece at the top and just a narrower plain piece, or just do it all plain. It's up to you. I'm just using up what I've got. That's there. Now what we're going to do is this bit, as I showed you before, is going to sit here. So we're going to apply the adhesive along this side. Lining it up with your bottom crease, making sure that the top and bottom pieces line up neatly. Okay, and then if you wanted to add anything else, you can add, like I showed you how to do the little pocket bits, you could add that there, but I'm just going to stick down my binding strip. So far your page looks like this. Actually, it shouldn't look like that at all. It should look like this. Okay, so your zigzag is on the top. That's the flap from your base page. And then I'm going to show you next what we're going to do on the back and why we left that plain. So we've completed the main part of the card. We've got the zigzag section on the top. It's a card, it's not a card, is it? It's a page. It's because I'm designing pages this morning in my head. Okay, so you've got your zigzag section. This is the flap from the main page, and on the back at the moment it's blank. So we're going to work on the back piece now. So you will need your sheet of 12 by 12, the one I'm going to put to one side, and we're going to cut this down to 10 by 10. So you're going to go 10 inches. And rotate and do 10 inches. Okay, now we're going to score. So we're going to score at 5 inches. You're going to rotate and score again at 5 inches. I just cut mine, and I said don't cut, score. I'm going to get another sheet, 1 second. Let's try that again. Okay, I know how to make that not happen again. We are going to cut down to 10 inches. And 10 inches, and so that I'm not tempted to do that again, right, I'll show you on here. And you see just this bit here that's a little bit wider than over here. Move your blade to there and it will simply lift out. That will stop me cutting again because now I've only got my score blade on there. I'm sorry, accidents happen, but at 5 inches wide I can use them on my next basic page. It's not a problem. Right, so we are going to score at 5 inches. Rotate and score again at 5 inches. Okay, so you've now got, and I'm hoping you can see this, a score line here and a score line here. Can't see it better on the other side. I'm not sure. So this bit here is my score line. Then I've got a score line that comes down this way. Our next score line needs to be a diagonal. Now it doesn't matter if you go this way or this way. I'm personally going to go this way. Okay, so what I'm doing on my trimmer is I'm lining the corners up with my guide rail, top and bottom. If you're not comfortable doing it this way, or your trimmer doesn't have the option to do this, then you'll need to do this with a score tool. Just making sure everything lines up neatly. Yep. Yes. Yeah, everything's scored. And then score. So now I've got, you can see, an edge to edge diagonal line. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is we're going to fold. Now I've got to decide if I want this on the inside or this on the inside, and I really do think I'm going to go with this on the inside. So we're going to fold that in half. One folder for a crisp crease. And then I'm going to go this way and I'm going to fold in half. Again, gold folder for a crisp crease. Now, because I want my hearts on the inside, I need to have this crease go this way. Yeah, so I'm actually going to flip it over. Fold along my crease, and then I'm going to go with the dome folder. Just gives it a really nice crisp finish. Okay. Now when I pop it over the other way, it naturally wants to do that. Now, some of you may have seen this before, and I've done before a squash album, which is basically 3 of these stuck together, and you stick the square bits together, and then you can open it up. You can do as many of these on your album as you want. I'm just going to do the one, okay? And the way that that will sit on my page is like this. Now, yes, we could have decorated the back page, but I figured if we're using a whole sheet of 12 or 12 to do this, and you're only going to have a tiny bit of your DSP showing top and bottom, it was a bit of a waste of paper. So I am going to do this. Now, this is where your ribbon comes in, and this wasn't optional. You don't have to do this. I'm using this gorgeous black organza kind of crushed silk effect that I've had in my stash for ages, and I keep going, I'll save it for a good project, I'll save it for a good project. But it needs to be used, and because I'm using black card as my background, like to build my pages, I thought this is a really good time. So I'm going to tie a bow. Now my ribbon's a good inch wide, possibly wider than an inch. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's 1.5 inches wide, the ribbon I'm using. You don't need ribbon that thick. You could do it with 10mm or 1cm ribbon, 1/2 inch ribbon. It's up to you. It's just that this is what I had in my stash and what I really wanted to use. I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut that slanted to help avoid the fray. Put that to one side. That's quite pretty. And then we're going to stick it onto the back. Now, as always, be aware of where your binding strip is, because you don't want to be sticking this so that it covers your binding strip. So mine is on this side, yeah, along there. So I need to stick this more this side. And the only thing that's important here for me, for how I'm going to do mine, is that the top and bottom margins are about the same. You may decide you want yours further up and you want a bit there for journaling, but I'm going to try and put mine in the middle about there. Okay, so it's going to apply some adhesive to the back, or you could use tape, you could use wet glue, it's up to you, but I've been using wet glue all the way through, so I'm going to stick to my PVA. Now I was thinking about editing out where I made the mistake, where I cut instead of scored, but I actually think I'll leave that into the video. See, we do make mistakes. Right, so double checking my binding strips this end. I'm going to put this end close to the edge. Oh, wrong way up, wrong way up. That way. I'm having a day today, aren't I? Okay. This is why I recommend double-sided paper, because I don't have to decorate inside here now. It's already patterned. If you are using single-sided, you need to decide, did you want the pattern on the inside or did you want the pattern on the outside? If your pattern is on the inside, just cut yourself a square that's 4.5 by 4.5 of either plain paper or your pattern paper or DST, and put that on the top. And you could even do it like a card topper, so you could stamp an image. There's all different ways you could decorate. And even if you use DST that's double-sided, you could still do that. It's up to you. It's your album. It's how you want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to do my bow back up. I'm keeping my finger on the knot to keep it tight, which is why I look so awkward when I'm doing it. I've always done it this way, I don't know why. And that's your next page done. Okay, so you've got the squash bit on the back. This is where your binding strip is. So the holes will go through there, it won't interfere with the squash. Okay, you've got your zigzag section here. And you've got your flat bit there. So as you can see, you've got a very interactive page. So this one's your zigzag squash. Oh, since I showed you how to take that off, I should probably teach you how to put that blade back in. It's easy. You go back to that bit there. If you look underneath, you've got a bit that clips. Simply click that underneath your guide rail. See, go to under there. Back into that space, pop it, push it down, and you're back in business. That's how you change your blades on this. Love this trimmer. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this page. I should say to you, don't use thick lace, the bulkier laces, like the thick cotton trim to do the bow. It's very bulky. I mean, this is bulky enough as it is using organza. Yeah, and this is why I'm actually putting the beads between each page when I do my binding. It's to give a bit of space for this kind of thing, for embellishments, etc. I think that sets it off nicely. So normally I don't tell you what's coming up in the bonus video, but I think it's important. The bonus video that goes with this video, it's going to be talking about materials for making the cover, and I'd like to talk about them early so that you can be prepared, ready for lesson 8. Okay, So please, if you haven't already, join the group for the bonus video for that. I'm not putting the bonuses up on YouTube simply because it's a little bit of a thank you for joining my group. So if you'd like to know about what I'm using for my cover, pros and cons of things that I've tried for covers, what works for me, the cheapest way to do it, for example, please join my group, the Stampin' Stashes group. You'll find the link underneath this video, and I'll give you a little bit of a chat about that. Don't worry, they're not long videos, they're quite short. Okay, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that page. I'd love to see some comments. No one's talking to me yet. Is there anything you don't understand? Is there anything that you didn't like? Is there anything that you thought could be improved? If you just liked it, that would be great. So thanks for joining me again, and I'll see you again for the next video. Take care. Bye.